of the Bahamas.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
It's Friday, May 27, 2022, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, former Water and Sewerage Chairman Adrian Gibson questioned by police. Radio Bahamas continues to celebrate 86 years of broadcasting. Alive, making technology more accessible to the disabled among us. And we place more emphasis on World Food Safety Day. So let's start the morning off right.
Edition is brought to you by We Buy You Sell Company, your leading hurricane impact windows, doors, and tile specialist.
Well, it's the last day to put on purple for Lupus Awareness Month. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDon Davis.
Good morning, everybody. Excuse me, I forgot the caller coordination again this morning. I don't know what's going on, but I've been seeing a lot of green recently, and I'm happy that today is Friday. We can finally put the Eastern Conference Finals aside and then go on to play the Golden State Warriors starting in the NBA Finals next week. That's all my focus on this week. So don't call me, don't text me, I don't want nobody bother me, especially if the Boston Celtics lose and I'm turning my phone off. But that will not happen. So we're in for a great show, LaDon. What you going to ask me?
I don't know, but I think the Miami Heat is going to come back on this one. They're going to come back.
Do you feel the temperature in here? Do our guests feel the temperature in here?
Yeah, it's a bit hot, so that's probably why.
That's a sign of things to come. We're going to cool us down later on this evening. But it's Entertainment Friday. We have Bernadette Tanquest, the songstress she's going to sing this morning for us. We're also going to talk about World Food Safety Day. What is that? Do you know this word?
Well, you know we like to eat, so we have to be safe, as to what we eat.
And talking about food, Shomani Bistro, they're still trying to give out this $25 gift certificate for anybody who can answer this question. Let's bring it up on the screen. Which variety of chili pepper is considered the hottest in the world? And you can dial 502-3855. Which variety of chili pepper is considered the hottest in the world? And do you know, LaDon?
No, I don't. That's chili pepper.
Chili pepper is different from hot sauce.
I know. That's why I didn't answer, because it's not any of the above that I have in my head. It's chili.
$25 gift certificate from Shomani Bistro Restaurant. Let's answer that question. You can call in the number. But let's take it out to the streets where our Krista Darling is standing by with your Friday morning traffic as we head into another busy weekend.
Good morning, LaDon and Fisher, and good morning, Bahamas. We're here on Cowpen and Blue Hill Road, where we can see the cars are starting to line up on the streets. It's nice and cool out here today. The weather is so good. Over the last few days, it's been really, really hot, too. So it's nice to be out here in the fresh air. And this morning, I'm with Officer Patrick Kim. Good morning, Officer Kim.
Good morning, Priscilla, and good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning. So could you talk to us about traffic today? We're talking about cars parking wherever they want.
But, you know, it's never a good thing to park where you want. poison's private property, blocking poison's private entrances is never a good thing. And you might be saying something now that gives a good example of that. An individual decided to park on the sidewalk of a nearby business establishment to patronize their business while inconveniencing a pedestrian. And that is wrong. That person shouldn't have to go around the vehicle or walk in the street to avoid you, because they cannot utilize the sidewalks that is rightfully theirs to use. So I want drivers to be considerate, please. Be a brother and sister's keeper. And don't park on the sidewalk. And also, it is an offense. It carries a fine of $100 for parking on the sidewalk.
Okay, but we know that in many areas, parking is not, very easily found. Is there any exception to this rule? Is there a way that people can park maybe on the grass or somewhere on the side of the road and it'll be okay?
Well, is it okay because you decided to come onto the host lane and you decided you're going to wreak havoc on the street because you couldn't prepare in time? No. So the law is very clear. The law is the law, Crystal. There is no exception for breaking the laws. You will find yourself before the courts. And remember, the decisions that you made can be an issue for yourself and somewhat a road user. Well, it can be problematic, but this is where the persons of those business establishments needs to revamp and needs to think of ways in which they can cause an area to be created for their customers.
Okay, thank you for that. But I want to also ask you about defective vehicles. We've seen quite a number of vehicles. This bus over here as well, their exhaust is coming out. Could you talk about the different things that make a vehicle defective?
Well, you name one of them. Okay, it's a defective vehicle when you are excessively smoking, a vehicle that is excessively smoking. In fact, you want to get your exhaust muffler, you want to get your muffler checked, get it corrected, all right? That is an issue for various reasons, and one of the main concerns is health reasons, all right? Oh, and you know what? I want to also mention in terms of defective vehicles, for you persons out there driving, windshield wipers not working, one headlight in the night. You need to get these vehicles sorted out. It's up to you to check your vehicle before coming on the street. No side view mirror, no rear view mirror. These are all defective vehicles. And I also want to still send a plea to members of the public who has any information on that fatality in the Camp Road area, St. Margaret's graveyard area, where that male was struck in the hours of Friday into Saturday morning. Please come forward and produce any information that you have so that we can help bring this matter to the close to these family members.
Thank you so much for that information this morning, Officer Kemp. Back to you in the studio, Fisher and LaDon.
All right, so Chrissy, I said it's looking pretty good on the outside. We are waking up to 77 degrees, mostly sunny winds, east-southeast at 7 miles per hour, humidity 83%. Now, high pressure ridge continues to support a moderate to fresh breeze across the Bahamas. Fall areas, weather partly cloudy, hot and breezy with isolated showers. Your daytime high temperature, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. An early look at the beach this morning. So if you had plans to go there this morning, you can still go and enjoy the sunshine. Your overnight low of 73. But as we look ahead to the weekend, things are going to change. Saturday, a thunderstorm expected sometime in the morning. As for Saturday, weather partly cloudy, hot and humid in the northwest Bahamas, and partly cloudy to hot and breezy in the central and southeast Bahamas. Widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms expected throughout the archipelago. Heavy and severe at times in the central and southeastern islands. As for Sunday, another rainy day, cloudy with a thunderstorm. Partly cloudy to cloudy, hot and humid with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Heavy to severe at times for all areas. So bring out those umbrellas this weekend.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez confirming that the Long Island Member of Parliament turned himself in for questioning in relation to an ongoing investigation involving the Water and Sewerage Corporation. The corporation's former chairman, Adrian Gibson, was questioned for much of the day on Thursday before being released last evening pending further investigations. Current Water and Sewerage Chairman Sylvanus Petty had this to say on the issue.
The investigation is ongoing. We left it in the capable hands of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and we're just waiting on the conclusion of the investigation.
More details offered on the government's budget presentation during the weekly press briefing at the office of the Prime Minister on Thursday. It has been indicated that minimum wage will increase commencing in July. Not only is that good news for persons in the public sector, but those in the private sector should also jump for joy, as they too will experience this financial increase.
There's what is called a tripartite council, which is a collaboration between the government, the labor segment, which is represented by the labor unions, and as well the employers, who are represented by the Bahamas Employment Confederation. And so what they do is they collaborate and they get together, and then they make suggestions to the government on what the quantum should be and what the timing should be. And I understand that they are very close to making that presentation to the government. So yes, that's a long way to say yes. It is the intention. Of course, the government can control what it does in the public sector and through its collaboration in the tripartite council as well. So we expect that to follow shortly after, ideally perhaps even at the same time.
The government carrying out its solar and renewable energy program to the Family Islands, this according to Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, as he addressed administrators and local government practitioners during a conclave at Super Club's Breezes. The Prime Minister says that the Family Islands will be on the front line in leading this initiative.
This weekend, a team of government officials and a representative from the IDB Bank will conduct technical assessments for the installation of solar photovoltaic systems for public buildings on rooftops or ground mounters in Inagua, Acklins, Crooked Island, Maguana, and Long Key.
Alive is making technology more accessible to the disabled. It's all being made possible by the Alive Connect program, which was on Thursday at the Stapleton School. Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, as well as Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Obi Wilshcombe, lauded the telecommunications company for being a good corporate citizen.
The alignment being launched today not only brings a focus to equitable and inclusive education, but creates in a most material way the technological access to fulfill this objective.
It's incredible that you are redefining corporate citizenship. Usually corporate citizenship has a lot to do with what individuals seek for themselves. Very often we find companies that put themselves in the forefront, but it's for a very good photograph. But what you're doing is you're putting others in the front. You're allowing for individuals who have challenges to now have opportunities.
What do you want from a cloud solution? You want flexibility and edge? You want to modernize applications with the ability to deliver new ones with lightning speed. You want an infrastructure that's automated, secure, cost-effective, and scalable. You want to give the end user the freedom they want with the control you need. You can't get all that from just any cloud. You need something better. You need Bahamas Cloud. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
New year, new time. Watch Conversations with Christ every Sunday at 10 a.m. And I'll tell you why. Because God said 1,000 years is like a day for me. And that's why you could have a thief on the cross pray for just a few seconds and get forever, and get forgiveness, and get eternity. So every single Sunday for 30 minutes, we're going to praise God together. So every Sunday at 10 a.m., Conversations with Christ.
The World Food Safety Day, and the Bahamas Agricultural Health and Food Safety Authority is doing its part to celebrate the occasion. This morning we're joined by the authority's Director of Food Safety and Quality, Dr. Patricia Johnson, and Director and Chairperson, Dr. Patty Simonet of BAFSA. Well, ladies, welcome to the morning edition.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you.
So, Dr. Johnson, talk to us a little bit about what actually is World Food Safety Day.
Well, World Food Safety Day is a international day where we try to bring awareness to food safety, to bring attention to ways that we can prevent and detect and manage foodborne illnesses.
Are you able to tell us a little bit more about what are some of the activities planned this time around that are different from previous years?
Yes, well, actually this year, during the week of June 6th to June 10th, we have proclaimed that as BAFSA Food Safety Week. And World Food Safety Day actually falls on June 7th. But what we've done this year is we opened up a poster competition for 11 to 14-year-olds where they can depict the theme, Safer Food, Better Health. And of course, today is the deadline, but we would have extended that to June 1st. We want persons to please submit your poster competitions. And so we'll have an event on June 4th at the mall at Marathon. We're asking persons to come and, see the various information about BAFSA, and also we'll be joined by the walk-in clinic who will be doing some free screening tests there for you as well. After all, what you eat basically determines your health and wellness.
I'm going to toss this question over to you. What are some of the key points you want business operators, food handlers, and consumers in general to know?
Well, pretty much we need to get the mandate for BAFSA out to the public. BAFSA just came into existence in 2016, and it monitors plant health, animal health and production, the safety of it, and of course, food quality and safety. So it's important that businesses know that as far as BAFSA is concerned and the mandate of the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, that we are really serious about ensuring the safety of the public when it comes to food and consumption. Safer food equals better health, and we need to really get that message out that, poor quality food or poor handling of food or poor preparation of food compromises the health of the Bahamian public, and we need to do all we can to protect that.
And just before we go, Dr. Patricia Johnson, are you able to give us an update on the Select Jif peanut butter products recall? Any new developments?
Well, actually, that recall came out on May 20th, and you would have noticed a lot of different companies are also recalling products that would have had some of this ingredient in it. So we're just saying to the public to just be on alert for these additional recalls, as there are multiple products by different companies and different brands that are out there, and you should expect an update from us shortly. And of course, children are so susceptible because peanut butter is a favorite snack for children. And so we're asking parents to please be vigilant, check your cupboards. Peanut butter lasts for 2 years. It has a shelf life of 2 years. And so you want to make sure you don't have this product in your pantry and throw it out if you do.
Dr. Patricia Johnson and Patty Simonet, thank you ladies for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and best of luck to you and your team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, ZNS Radio celebrated 86 years on the airwaves Thursday under the theme, Then, Where We Are Now, and the Future. The occasion was highlighted by a special blast from the past. Here's Lloyd Allen.
Radio 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better. And we now bring you a special edition of the talk show Speak Up, featuring the hometown boy, our chairman, Forbes.
Radio show Speak Up Bahamas finds new life through a special edition today, hosted by ZNS Executive Chairman Forbes, better known as the Hometown Boy. Prior to the show, as always, Forbes prepped his guest, including State Minister for Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover Roll. It was literally a walk down memory lane. Technical staff also making sure to recreate a feel of the show entrenched in the history of the corporation. Forbes adds, as ZNS advances, the goal is to expand bigger and better.
ZNS is the home. We're transforming the place. We're going to be getting about some $2 to $4 million of investment infrastructure in the corporation in the next fiscal year. And we look to expand into the Exomas, having a station in Exoma, like we have in Grand Bahama. So the corporation must expand. We must have different platforms and planks. So we look forward to new development developments, and also, once again, extending MOUs to the Turks and Caicos Islands, which is a part of us culturally and also as a family.
The executive chairman so reflected on the early days of radio.
When we heard that sound, dun-dun-dun-dun, Julian Reed wasn't born yet. That means news was coming on. I got heaven on my mind, don't you know I want to go. That means my gets in the crusade is a Sunday school time. Lord have mercy. ZNS Radio not only covers the country, but also does it effectively. Homecoming, regattas, whatever's happening out there on our various platforms. So there's a special day we celebrate. And I'm glad to be back home, and I want to say thanks to the Prime Minister for giving me this opportunity to be here today.
And as we're getting back in the chair, Forbes says he literally had jitters.
And so when I got the microphone on, the lights came on, my nerves kind of set in. But when I got on the roll and we started talking about family island people and people, that's my kind of thing. So this is my only love. It's been the corporation. My only job has been here at the corporation. Coming from a production assistant up the line very quickly, going off to university, returning after my master's study, and coming back as a DGM, and now to be executive chairman. So ZNS is the home.
Speaker Bahamas guest, the Honorable Pia Glover Roll, shared her experience.
So it was very exciting, very nostalgic. Used to listening to Chairman Picewell Forbes, the hometown boy on our radio, not only here in New Providence, but even as we visited the family island. So very nostalgic moment, great walk down memory lane. And I always say, remember where you came from in order to know where you're going. So it was a great moment of reflection, understanding how radio has evolved in the Bahamas, where we are now, and looking forward to the future.
Festivities also continued following the show with a special selection from the Police Pop Band and cake cutting celebrating 86 years. The executive chairman walking away with the first slice.
And as we head to the break, we take a look back at today in Bahamian history. On May 27, 1966, fire destroyed a portion of the Essos building at Nassau International Airport, with damage is estimated at 50,000 pounds. Also on this day in 2003, 13-year-old D'Angelo McKenzie became the third of 4 Grand Bahama boys to go missing, with their remains eventually discovered in a remote area.
Hello, I'm Mario Nuri, returning to you with another informative program of A Familiar Walk, Steps Toward Hurricane Preparedness 2022. Join us with Madam President Therese Curry, President of the Bahamas Red Cross, Captain Stephen Russell, Director of NEMA, Mr. Charles Johnson of J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, and meteorologist Wayne Neely. We welcome you to be a part of our journey as we remind you that precautionary measures taken now could save life and property in the future. Join us.
COVID is clearly unpredictable. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. I'm young, and it still put a beating on me. I had no other option but to go to the hospital. I remember the doctor telling me if I had waited one more day, I wasn't gonna come inside here alive. At my lowest point, not being there for my kids was... You don't want to be in the same position that I was in. Vaccines may not stop you from getting COVID, but it can stop you from getting COVID the way I had COVID. You don't want that way.
I want y'all to picture your parents, them over there watching y'all. You want gangbang?
It's back.
You're here because your parents decided to put you in here.
The groundbreaking reality series returns.
You never hit me before? You raise your hand hit me?
Do you know it's still time to get it together?
With never before seen footage.
Come punch me then. Send you to punch him on me. You punch me?
This ain't no playground.
You gonna know before you leave today. If you leave, if they find some space, I just teach y'all how to disrespect.
It's a whole new season.
Don't come here with your movie face, because I ain't buying it.
Watch their transformation.
It bears to be a winner. It bears to be a winner.
Teamwork. You are a unit. You moving as one.
So why you doing what you do? The Ministry of National Security and the ZNS Network presents Shark Treatment. A whole new season coming soon.
The Bahamians continue to make their mark on the international scene, and this morning Jonathan Benson introduces us to a young entrepreneur who took a chance on himself and hit it big.
It's a dream come true. You have hundreds of thousands of people that apply, very few that are black-owned that make it, very few that make it in general.
From humble beginnings here in the Bahamas, Alexio Gibson took his talents all the way to the big stage on ABC's hit television show, Shark Tank. In the show's season finale last Friday, comedian Kevin Hart teamed up with Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban and cashed in with $600,000 for a 20% stake in Gibson's Cmos business, known as the Transformation Factory.
Ultimately, I wanted to work with Mark, so when he came in at the end, it was a complete no-brainer for me.
Gibson has made over $3 million in sales and pocketed $1.4 million in profits, and that caught the eye of the nighttime reality show.
Our producer actually reached out to us and saw our activity on social media and said that, hey, you guys are doing an incredible job. I think you guys should apply. We got a call right away, had a phone interview. They moved us to the next round immediately.
Gibson says the feedback so far has been incredible.
So many people, especially my Bahamian people, have just been so supportive and just saying how inspired they've been, telling me how much of a great job I've done and that I represent the country well. I've even had Cmos companies reach out to me and thank me for helping to put our industry on a major platform, because they're even experiencing a sales spike.
Gibson offers these words to other entrepreneurs who may want to follow a similar path but are hesitant.
Even in a room of 100 people, there may be only 3 people that see your video, and that's okay. You know, don't get discouraged. Don't let anybody take you off your path, and don't let anybody project their fear or their failures on you, because just because you didn't do it doesn't mean that you can't. If I listened to every negative comment in my circle, I would not be here today.
With such a big opportunity ahead, Gibson is building his brand even more.
I actually have a book that's being released in about 3 weeks. We have a beauty line coming out with our Cmos in it. We have an app coming out, and we also have a weight loss documentary coming out surrounding my weight loss and what I did to lose all the weight.
Gibson definitely with a lot of irons in the fire, all in an effort to give people the tools to transform and turn into the best version of themselves.
And as you would have just heard, Cmos products are becoming quite popular here in the Bahamas, and this morning a local nutritionist is encouraging Bahamian women to buy into it for better hair care.
There was a young lady that had, she was diagnosed with alopecia, that where she has the thinning of the hair and that area wasn't growing back. She's now using my Cmos hairspray formula, which is very simple and easy to use.
That's just one of 1,000 or more cases of Bahamians suffering from severe hair loss or hair-related ailments and are now benefiting from the Cmos hairspray therapy. It's a popular formula nutritionist and owner Shay King says will only work if the client is consistent with it for about 3 to 6 months.
I told her if she came back for a 4th bottle, she needed to pay for the first 3 bottles. So, you know, when you're manufacturing a new product, you're not quite sure about it. And so that's what I did. Needless to say, she used them. She came back for a 4th bottle. She's seeing results. And one of the things I can tell you as a local manufacturer is not when you sell the product, you know that it actually works, but when people come back for the product.
Shay, who made the bottle of hair therapy spray from fresh Cmos collected from our shorelines, says she also sampled the product and is quite pleased with her hair length journey.
So I decided to do a 6-month journey myself, where I used my own product on my hair for 6 months, and the result was 9 inches of, I started at 9 inches, and then I ended up at 16 inches of hair growth in 6 months just from using the product. So I know it works. People come back and tell me, and I see the results when I see people all the time. And now people are pretty much knocking my door down for Cmos.
Shay says clients must give the product time to work its magic into the distressed hair before making any final conclusions.
You want to see your hair vibrant. You want to see your hair live and moving. The strength of your hair. You want to improve the texture. You have to give the product a minimum of 3 months. I like to say 6 months, but what I can tell you is in that time, you're going to start to notice the difference. And in addition to that is you want a product that actually feeds your hair. You want it to be almost like hair food. And what I like about the Cmos, because it's naturally occurring with the minerals in it, this is actually what actually helps the hair to grow.
It's no secret, though, that Bahamian women love long, healthy, flowing hair. And Shay says if you want to try something new, Cmos hair care is definitely the way to go.
I think I need it for the spoil sport I'm getting right here. But let's get the trivia out of the way. What is the hardest chili pepper? It's called Ghost Pepper. And the winner this morning is Stephanie Hepburn. She won a $25 gift certificate from Shomani Beach. And you can pick it up from the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas anytime today. And today is Entertainment Friday, LaDawn. And we have Bernadette Turnquest in studio this morning. Tell us about yourself quickly, and then we're going to get right into the singing.
Quickly. Bernadette Turnquest, the name. And I'm also a minister of the gospel, love Jesus with all my heart. I'm passionate about worship, totally. I believe that it should be done right. It should be done from a place of excellence. It should be done from a place of passion. It should be done from a place of depth, I would say, so that life comes forth when you present what you have.
So let's hear this passion this morning from Bernadette Turnquest as we exit out here today on Entertainment Friday. The stage is all yours.
The kingdom of God is within me. 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 Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in The kingdom of God is within. The kingdom of God is within me. The kingdom of God is within me. Righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. That's the kingdom of God within me. Righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. That's the kingdom of God within me.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Agriculture Now. I'm Carla Palmer. Backyard farming, that's the focus of this episode. While there's no reliable data as to just how many persons engage in backyard farming here in the Bahamas, what is undeniable is that growing your own produce in your own yard fosters a sense of pride, is exciting, and most of all, cost-effective. Knowing where your food source is coming from. You know, our grandparents used to grow in the yard. They go and they get some cassava, some sweet potatoes, and they boil that, and that's a meal. But when you have to import something that's coming into the country, that's coming in from another country, that has to be in a container, that has to be sprayed, we don't know what we're consuming. So I encourage as many Bahamians, just start. Start with a tomato tree that you don't have to do very much. The savings is tremendous. I look at tomatoes in the store. I went to purchase some lemons, some limes. 75 cents for a lime. You know, so the cost that you can do, and if you only need 20 minutes, it's therapeutic. It's an exercise to come out in the backyard. And then the fresh air that comes along with it.
It's great. I love it. I wish everyone could be working for themselves, be an entrepreneur, not working for someone else. You could increase your income. You don't have no ceiling on how much you could make. Some days you may make less, and some days you make more. So it'll all, and at the end, it'll all pay out for the days that you didn't hardly make nothing. The days that it's good, cover everything.
You are watching Agriculture Now. Stay tuned as we showcase some backyards right here in New Providence that are ripe for harvesting. There is much more when we return.
2022 is a year of positional manifestation.
My God,
I just said something. A year of positional. Now, I know you may have never heard that before. It means, my brothers and sisters, if you are positioned, you are ready for the manifestation. God is going to reveal himself in the lives of people who know their God.
Sundays at 8:30 a.m. on ZNS TV 13.
Welcome back to Agriculture Now. Backyard farming is the topic. Father John Kabiga has been a clergyman for most of his adult life, traveling from his native land of Nairobi, South Africa, to serve here in the Bahamas.
I came in the Bahamas in 1992, and this has been my home since. I came here as a priest with the Anglican Diocese, and I have been with the Anglican Diocese since. I am a teacher as well. Right now, I am serving as a chaplain at St. Anne's School and also associate priest at Holy Trinity in Stippled Gardens.
Although thousands of miles away from home, Father Kabiga still holds steadfast to his childhood custom of backyard farming.
This is something which I have done all throughout my life. Since I came here in 1992, every parish where I have gone, starting from Andros all the way to Crooked Island and Akrins, I have done backyard gardening. I grew up, my mother taught us that you don't have to buy anything. You have to accurately eat from your garden. So from the time I was a small boy, she took me to the garden, she took me to the farm. Here in the Bahamas, one thing people don't understand is that we are very blessed. We have beautiful weather, and rain here is not a problem, or in most of the places, the water table is very low. So even if you dig a well, you have a lot of water. So if you are going to irrigate your farm, you don't have to incur a lot of cost as long as you have a well. And although the soil might not be that rich, with a slight improvement with the manure and the rest of it, the soil becomes very fertile. And because of the climate, things grow very, very well over here. I specialize right now in kale, collard greens, Swiss chard. I have beets, I have okras. I also have sweet pepper and also the other finger peppers and tomatoes. Right now I have 3 types of kale. If you see this one here, this is called the dwarf cowed. The only thing the kale needs is good care. You have to know when to, you cannot let it, you have to pick constantly. because the more you pick, it grows up. You begin from the bottom, it grows up, and then you cannot let the leaves become old, because if they become old, they have a problem with white flies. But all of these now are ready to pick, and these are young and very tender, very good.
When do you pick it? It has to grow how tall?
No, right now, all of this from here, everything else under there can pick. So the only thing which cannot pick now is this. Yeah, so anything under that can pick.
In anticipation of a sizable yield, Father Kabiga maximizes the use of his space that by all accounts would be considered small to most persons.
I have been in this place now for more than 12 years in my house. And since then, my backyard have actually paid for this land. So it has not only been economically feasible, but it has also been a part of our family. We don't buy anything apart from those things which you cannot be able to get, or maybe when we are out of the season. But because of some of those things, you can be able to freeze them. You can be able to store even when the summer comes. You still have got some stuff which you could be able to use out of season. I have my lawn in the front, but all my sides, all the sides of my house, I have used it for the garden. I would encourage every household to actually have a garden. You still can retain your good lawn and good-looking lawn in the front. But the back where you have got, a lot of lawn and a lot of space, you need to create something in order to make some provision for your family to have some fresh vegetables and fresh supply, which you can be able to have. In the Bahamas right now, you don't need to have, let's say, about 100 feet or something big like that. About as less as 15 feet by about 18 feet will feed your whole family for a whole year. With this, with my backyard, I have been, for several years, I have been Abaco Market's vendor, and I supplied Coast-Right and Solomon every week about 6 boxes of the vegetables to the store. I don't do that anymore simply because I have, on a weekly basis, I have quite a good number of my friends and customers who get the stuff from me. It doesn't matter how big your place is. If you treat your soil right and you plant the proper stuff and you take care of them, the productivity is there. You're gonna get a lot of stuff from your place.
I bought a tomato at the store and I just sliced it. And I got about 6 slices and I just rest the slices in the pot and cover it with a little soil. And this is what I got. Yes, and in a shorter space of time.
There is another backyard farmer with a similar testimony. Peggy Kelly is also loving what she does. For her, what began as a hobby has now blossomed into a financial gain. That and more when Agriculture Now returns.
The ZNS community page now has its own home on Channel 230. Be sure to tune into this channel to see informative notices, funeral announcements, birthday greetings, and much, much more. So watch the ZNS community channel today on Cable 230.
Welcome back. You are watching Agriculture Now.
I started, I would say, about 8 years, just watching television and then wanting to eat healthier, and also the savings that backyard farming did.
Like Father Kabiga, Kelly began growing produce in her backyard as a means of feeding herself and her family. However, the demands by friends and strangers for her produce has changed her initial intent.
It started out growing for my family, and then I went on Facebook. And so now I have a lot of persons that are requesting, Peggy, listen, what you have in the garden, can you put a $10 bag together for me? Can you put a $20 bag together? Because a lot of persons who know me know that everything that I do is organic. I don't use any pesticides on anything that I grow. When I start a process, if I do, like I grow peas, I will actually show you the picking of the peas, to the shelling of the peas, to the washing of the peas, the boiling of the peas, and then bagging it. And then I would post that on Facebook, and within an hour, everything is gone. And so I have now a large following, and now asking me to sell to individuals. I grow a little of everything. Like I said, like what I like. You would find regular bananas, sugar bananas, strawberries, bok choy, cantaloupe, corn, peppers, tomatoes, a little of everything, beets, and definitely sugar cane.
In growing her own produce, Kelly says the savings to her purse is tremendous.
Before the hurricane, I had a peas tree. This peas tree was taller than myself, that I had to use a ladder. This tree bared so much that in 1 year, I did not have to buy peas for 1 year. I averaged that. A cost of a peas, I think, per can with the coconut milk is about $2.50. And you know, a typical Bahamian dish on a Sunday is peas and rice, right? So you can average on a year, each week, saving $2.50. One solid year, I didn't have to buy peas. So for me, that's tremendous saving. Tomatoes, I don't buy when it's in season. Lettuce, I don't buy. Every morning I get up, I get kale. Out of my garden, I can get spinach. In the front of the yard, I have some Swiss chard, and I blend that with a banana out of the yard, and that's a smoothie for the morning. So that's my breakfast that I didn't have to pay for.
With some 16 fruits and vegetables growing in an already small space, Kelly plans on using every inch of her property to grow even more produce, utilizing vertical farming.
I started a strawberry patch out of a crate. It is not fully put together yet, so I'll be going up with my strawberry patch versus allowing it to grow on the ground.
Kelly says around her house, nothing goes to waste.
And so my compost bin is basically all of my scrappings that I would have collected out of my kitchen. I would then put into my compost. I would go to the beach, get seaweed. I rake up any leaves at the office, and I bring in there. And once every couple of days, I just turn it. That breaks down in another couple of weeks, and then I add it to my soil. And everything that I put into that compost, whether it be cantaloupe seeds, whatever seeds, you can actually then go into that compost and actually pull out a seedling. Everything grows into that because the conditions are right. And everything goes in this. You can just take it out of the compost and then put it into your soil.
When we come back, we will travel across town from east to west on Farrington Road, where Frederick Moss resides. You are watching Agriculture Now.
Hello, I'm Mario Nuri, returning to you with another informative program of A Familiar Walk, Steps Toward Hurricane Preparedness 2022. Join us with Madam President Therese Curry, President of the Bahamas Red Cross, Captain Stephen Russell, Director of NEMA, Mr. Charles Johnson of J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, and meteorologist Wayne Neely. We welcome you to be a part of our journey as we remind you that precautionary measures taken now could save life and property in the future. Join us.
Welcome back to Agriculture Now. Frederick Moss can be timed each morning leaving his house for work. Luckily for him, he's never late, as he doesn't have far to travel. In fact, his workplace is just steps outside of his home. For Moss, it would be an understatement to say farming is his hobby. For him, it is his livelihood.
I used to do other trades, painting, mechanic work, construction field, but I wasn't doing that for about 2-3 years. So I decided in 2017 get this shack. And that's like, I get up with the lady with the property, I lease it from her. And after she gave me access to clean down all of it, then I decided that I'm gonna put peppers on it. I always liked the ground. I always liked the dirt. I used to always be planting things in the yard over there from years ago. So it wasn't really that hard for me to get into it.
Why did you choose peppers?
Because of the market.
What about the market?
I realized that they were expensive and they wasn't popular. People, you can't find them in the yard no more. When I was small, it was in the yard. You can't hardly find them in the yard no more. You have to go to the store to get them, and then sometimes you can't only get them at the store.
So you figured it would be profitable for you to grow peppers?
Yes, ma'am. I already reap about almost 500 pounds from January to now, second week of January.
So who do you sell to?
Well, right now I start off from the second week of January with Geneva Brass, Mr. Percy, corner of the Hibiscus Avenue. And presently, right now, I'm trying to get hooked up with Super Value and Extra Value.
Will it only be peppers here? That's going to be your staple?
Yes, ma'am.
That plan was short-lived. While finger peppers continued to be the main staple, strong public demand for other produce resulted in Moss growing a variation of crops.
So then I add other vegetables with it: okra, sweet pepper, celery, cold pepper, pumpkin, pomegranates, tomatoes, beets. I have some sugar apple, soursop. I make more here. Right off the top. And I don't have the one over my head. I can stop when I'm ready. I can start when I'm ready. Yeah, I can push as long as I want to also over time.
So you know how many pepper trees you have then? Would you know?
I lost track. I can be honest here. I know it's.
You just keep planting.
I just keep planting. Keep planting. I know it's maybe
All
over
you know
1,000 or 2,000.
All you know is there's a market for it and you're going to produce that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're open to it. What about the goat peppers? You're not going to get into that so much, sir?
I would like to, but if I plant goat pepper in the body on that vacant space, they can cross, they can germinate.
Okay.
They can mix with the pollination, with the bees or with butterflies or the breeze. So they can be too close. I'll have to use a next piece of property, a little distance away, and pull it out with no goat pepper.
So any insects?
No insects yet, no bugs, nothing yet. The only thing I experience is some of the leaves yellow is the lack of nitrogen. Right? Because I don't use no fertilizer, nothing on it. Right? I have a compost bucket there, it's called the juice. I use that all the vegetables and the fruits and everything rotten down there in water. And every couple of weeks, I'll dip all the buckets full. I'll go up there and water them with small amounts of water from that. I try not to let it get on the leaves. So know that's hot. Somehow that's be hot when you mix that with all that different stuff in it, right? So I mostly would bark it on the back of the leaves on the side and try to get it around the root. It's the love of it, mostly. And then the words of encouragement from people who pass and see me doing it. Young, old, foreigners, Bahamians, everybody.
When we come back, another farmer is using his knowledge of backyard farming to teach persons in the community.
This is the only way. If you take God's blessing and you clench it up into your hand, you can't pass it on to anybody else. You won't receive any more blessings either. If he gives you a blessing and you have it with an open hand approach, more blessings can flow completely through. So we're not to hold on to these. They're just tools for us to help out other people.
That and more when Agriculture Now returns. Welcome back to Agriculture Now. Philip Davis Jr. of Yamacraw East reaps lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, arugula, asparagus, basil, mulberries, peas, cane, and more. With the exception of a few ornamental plants, every space of his property from front to back is planted with fruit-bearing trees.
They actually grow grapes here. The grapes that you would buy in the food store, they grow it here. Could you believe it? Grapes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you could grow grapes here.
With limited space, Davis is distinctly innovative in how he farms. A farming style that scientifically cheats time.
From the area that we came from in the front, that's one of the more matured areas. As we walk around this side here, you're walking into my nursery. So this will be the stage where I take them out from their seedling beds, put them into their pots, the 1 gallon pots, and make sure that they have their trays. Yup, black crims, lemon tomatoes. You'll see straight around the side. This is called propagation, all right? So what I'll do is I shave back the bark, expose the cambium layer of the tree, which is the white piece, and I just put my mixture of peat moss and you wrap it up with either foil or plastic. You grow the roots on the tree itself. It normally takes a month to 2 months. Then you can cut the branch off right there, plant it into the ground. The reason why we do this, if you plant the seed of a soursop or any tree, fruit trees, they normally will take 4 to 5 years before you see fruit off of them. If you go and you propagate it this way, you're guaranteed to get the same exact fruit within a year. As that was growing on there, if I were to cut that, you get fruit off of that right away.
You could do the same thing for a lime tree?
Lime trees are even easier.
These tomatoes growing here, basically on a vine, and they're on the ground. What would keep the pesticides, not the pesticides, but the insects away? What keeps the insects away?
I would put it in terms of the same way that you raise a child. What would keep your child from getting into problems and stuff? Constantly being on them, constantly helping them out with their homework, making sure that they're doing things right. When I do my farming, I do intensive farming. So I'm not a commercial farmer where I set up my irrigation system and I just let things water and run by itself. I come out here and I water by hand every day. So I can see on the plant exactly when something is happening and I fix it right away. I deal with these every day.
While Davis feeds himself and family members from what's grown on property, his economic intake principally comes from sharing his knowledge of farming to help others. Those around him, like his neighbors, are the first persons he has extended a helping hand to.
I want to go back to the ways of how Grammy and them used to be. We walk inside Grammy's house and you would have a basket, a plethora of things that she picked from the yard or neighbors bring by and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to work to put food on our table, before you leave your house and you can see your food in your garden before you go out, that's security right there within yourself, that you have what you need to sustain yourself and your family. Anything else other than that is gravy. This is your lunch wrap.
From there, straight to the mouth.
Straight to the mouth. Bon appetit.
No.
Each one teach one. I'm starting off with a group of about 50 to 60 people. If I can teach 50 to 60 people, and they can teach maybe 20 and possibly another 50 to 60, we can pretty much expand straight throughout the length and breadth of the Bahamas within a few years. Minimal cost. Minimal cost because, of course, seeds cost things, low planter trays cost things, but then I can show you the other side where you can do your own compost, refueling your soils, and certain things that regenerate the fertility within your own land. I can also come to people's house after we set up there and then keep on branching out just like that. This section right here secures my neighbors with all their lettuce, eggplant. Jason, you want to show them some sweet peppers right there? On the tree. There you go. Right there, on the tree. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be beautiful. Just as long as you have it and it functions. Everything is here. Your onions. We had watermelons the first time. We do our crop rotation. This is even a specialty pepper. Tequila Sunrise. Everything. Like I say, you give me the seeds, I'll try to grow it. This is the actual grapes that you were eating this morning. So as you come in, they'll reveal all of their beauty for you right on the inside. Organic. Can't get no fresher than this.
Oh my God. Tell them to give me.
Ain't got to give you. Tell
So
them.
all of this will really be
All of this will grow out. Now you see, this will be functionality as well, because what we'll end up doing is making this into a carport, protect you from the shade, and it also makes sure that the grapes will hang down and you can pick them as they're ripe. A small book that I read, it informed me that a family of 4, you'll spend approximately between $8,000 and $15,000 a year just on food consumption. Now, taking a quarter-acre space inside your yard and sustaining yourself off of that, you knock down your cost to about $2,000, $3,000 per year, and you'll be healthier. Because there's a saying that they say, you're either going to pay the farmer or you can pay the doctor. So if you become your own farmer, you don't have to pay anybody. When you're growing, it's absolute practicality. You see it from the start to the finish. It's practical. He'll give us 8 hours every day. That is guaranteed with the sun. So you have your help. Some days the rain will come. You don't have to go in the garden. He gives you help on that as well. So the actual practicality of seeing God interact with you is also part of that wellness in farming as well.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Until next time, I'm Carla Palmer. Let's sow seeds and reap abundantly.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Finding new ways to boost the economy is one of the main goals of the Davies administration. That and minimizing the effects of climate change on our chain of islands. Now, tapping into the carbon credits industry is one way they can perhaps do both. Here to talk more about that are 2 of the main advisors to Prime Minister Davies on climate change, Rochelle Newbold, who is the Special Advisor on Climate Change and Environmental Matters, and Climate Change Advisor Charles Hamilton. Welcome to the Read Factor again. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Well, we saw that the carbon credits bill was introduced and passed in Parliament. Let's talk a little bit about that. But before we even talk about that, tell people what carbon credits are, because I know a lot of people, they hear it, but they're not sure what it is. What are carbon credits?
Well, carbon credits are a device system. It's an incentive that's been created and identified globally as a means of helping countries make that transition from a high carbon emitting state to it gives them that in-between space to develop technology to get them to the low carbon emissions. Every country has a target date, 2030, 2050, to be at a particular level with regards to their emission. But technology doesn't necessarily be developed in tandem with those dates and those periods. So there are states such as the Bahamas which don't do a lot of emissions. We have very few emissions, less than 1% of the global emissions. But we have a lot of biological resources that are pulling carbon out of the atmosphere, much like we learned about in 7th grade biology class. Plants take in CO2, they put out oxygen. So carbon credits is a value that is placed on the amount of carbon dioxide that is taken out of the atmosphere by plants, and it's measured in tons. Those tonnages are given a dollar value, and if we can say, well, for the Bahamas, we extract 300 tons of CO2 out of the atmosphere, then we have 300 tons of carbon for sale, and we would sell them in blocks of tons. So you could buy 1 ton, he could buy 50 tons, somebody could buy 200 tons, and we set a value on those, and we move forward. But it's important for us that when we identify that value, that the resource that provides that service is maintained, it's enhanced, and it's protected. So we can't have people going in and removing and clearing or burning or destroying that, because it definitely will have an economic impact on what we're offering.
Well, since you raised it so quickly, we were seeing right now in New Providence in particular, just acres and acres, hundreds of acres of land just being raised. Now, when you look at what we hope to do, it's sort of shooting us in the foot, isn't it?
Most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, I think like this all boils back into how do we value our natural resources, right? Recognizing that the long-term